Okay, we're recording. So welcome everyone to September's meeting of the Neighbourhood Plan Working Group. Welcome to our new member, Jan Smith. Thank you for stepping up.
Thank you.
Okay, so very regimented, we go through the agenda, and there is no any other business in council meetings, none of them. So if it's not on the agenda, we can try and squeeze it in. But if it's not and it's out of court, then we have to put it on the agenda for the next month.
Okay.
So 23, 24, 30 apologies for absence. There's a book going around. We've got 4 apologies for absence. Would anyone like to we take them all at once? So let's announce the names. We have Councillor Forrest, Councillor Truelove, Tony Irwin and Andrew Quarry. So taking them all, so Philippa's proposing them and David Heseltine is seconding them, all accepting their reasons, yes? Yeah, John, thank you. Okay, so, yeah, that's done, thank you. 23, 24, 31, disclosures of interest. To receive declarations of interest from councillors on items on the agenda. David, Philippa, I have none. No, you okay? To receive written requests. Have we received any written requests for disclosable pecuniary interest?
No.
We haven't, so we're not going to grant them, and we'll move swiftly on to the minutes of the meeting held on the 21st of August, which were attached to the set of minutes. So, anyone who is here and there have any comments on the minutes?
None from me.
None
from me.
Someone going to propose them? Philippa and David again?
Yeah.
All in favour of accepting the minutes with one abstention, Jan?
Well, I wasn't
Yeah, absolutely. I got there before you, Jan. Okay, 23, 24, 33, confidential item to be discussed in confidence after item 38. The item after 38 is the cost of delivery of the postcards. So just for Jan's benefit, if it's competitive, we always discuss it on camera, as it were, so it doesn't go out
In camera.
in camera.
In camera.
In camera.
In camera.
Yeah, which is weird, but in
Yeah,
camera.
because it's not in camera.
It's Latin. It's Latin. Oh, okay. No, I didn't do Latin.
In camera.
I just stayed at Greek. I didn't go into Latin.
Greek, yeah, not Latin. Greek.
Okay, so that's why that item's there, Jen.
Okay.
So anyone else want to move anything into the exclusion of press and public?
See how we get on, because some of the discussion under 36 might touch upon that.
Yes. Okay. Well, can we discuss them then as quote 1, 2, and 3? And that would.
Yeah.
Clark, we're not discussing. If we don't say the names, if we just say quote 1, 2, and 3, can we discuss it as we go? Yeah. Okay. Well, that would seem sensible to me. Okay, so we have no members of the public here, so there is no public participation. So we'll move swiftly on to 23, 24, 35, the draft neighbourhood plan, to receive an update on and to agree any actions, recommendations needed to complete the document. Well, I am pleased to say the document is complete, because the council agreed them at the last meeting. However, our good friend Tony Irwin has thrown a curveball in at the last minute and asked if we were confident that the disabled community had enough mentions in there. To be fair, I've been busy on other things and I was going to do a word search on it and look for the word disabled or disability or whatever. And he was thinking specifically about paths and things like that.
Was that within the plan itself?
Yes, within the plan.
Because I searched and I couldn't find anything.
You searched and you couldn't find it, so I was going to search it. So what I've told him is, because the full council has accepted it already, I had no real wish to open the door on it and start discussing it at this late stage, but I would have a look, the same as Eve's done, and take a view on it. And would pick it up under Regulation 14, and I would expect him to
Put a comment in.
Put a comment in as appropriate, as can we all. But just if we can put a place marker in that one for.
I seem to think, Chairman, that certainly with the sections to do with accessibility around town and in and out of town, walkways, pathways, cycleways, routes suitable for walking and cycles and I think wheelchairs. So there might not be specific mention of disabled
Yeah.
per se, but I'm pretty sure from my recollection, it's a few years ago now, that we made mention, or there was mention as a generality
Yes.
of ensuring accessibility to all people, no matter what.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I think from up to Castlefields, down right to the other end, all pavements have got lowering ramps on, haven't they?
Yeah.
Drop curves and bumpy,
Yeah.
so that even the blind can tell if they're
Yeah.
on a bumpy pavement.
I think I was
So
just going to say
if
that
we-
it's not only physical.
That
disabilities.
could be made mention of that all pavement. Bingley has taken care to do that. I think on all pavements and
Yeah, I'm
roadways.
pretty sure it's covered, but it might not be specifically mentioned for the disabled.
Yeah.
No.
But I'm confident
But it's
that
not,
in
it's
the
not just
content
the
of the
physically
whole thing.
disabled, it, you know, as Lynn said, the blind.
Yeah.
Oh, the traffic lights beep beeps.
Don't know,
You
yeah.
can cross now.
Tony-
Beep beep beep.
Tony felt
For
it
the hard of
wasn't.
hearing.
So Tony felt it wasn't. So as a long-standing member of this committee working group, I felt we should give it some due attention and wait, but not until we go to Egg
I
14.
suppose the cycling and walking bits come in quite late, hasn't it?
Yes.
We probably
Yes.
haven't included it
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yes.
in
I suppose when we do make a decision, we've got to be mindful of protected minorities,
Exactly.
whatever.
Different languages.
doing.
Then, as well.
Exactly.
I've just read
Signs
it
in
today and
different
it says
languages.
all residents, so that's like you're saying it's an umbrella for
Yeah.
all residents, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah. I think we have a responsibility under the Government Act to look at disabled and do an assessment when we take decisions as a council. Anyway, so if we were to say, "Oh, let's spend a bundle of money on Ginnells," and we would have to make sure that the disabled have got due weight to that decision. You know, so
Sure.
that's an example. But anyway, I said to Tony, "Good shout." We will pick it up.
We
under
just
the-
note it to
Yeah, we'll
to
put a flag in it and come back to that.
Yep.
So I don't have anything else to say on draft neighbourhood plan because it's still a draft, but it's. I do have one, which is Ian Cunningham wants to meet to discuss.
That's under the next.
Oh, it's under the next one. Is it Reg 14? Okay. Well, he wants to discuss before we go to Reg 14. So
yeah.
that's
Let's take
what I'm
it
doing.
next because there is always a possibility that would open up the documents again.
Yes,
isn't
depending upon if he throws some howlers in, because we wouldn't want him to, or his team, to throw big stuff our way at the Reg 14. We'd want to deal with it before we went out.
Prior
What's the
to-
Reg 14? What's the
Regulation 14. There are 3 more regulations to go before we get a made plan.
right?
We're making
another
it, but the
stage to
word
get
made.
through.
Yeah, Regulation 14 is the next big one for the community.
Right.
It's classed as an
It defines-
informal consultation because we do
defines
it
the
before
process.
submitting the plan.
Yes, then we
to
submit
Bradford.
It's a
it.
definition of the process
Yes.
for
Right.
public participation.
Right.
And it's Regulation 14 in the local plan document, Act of Parliament. Regulation 15 is the government assessment.
Right.
They deploy a trained assessor to crawl all over our plan and make comments. And Regulation 16 is the referendum.
Right.
Excuse me. Are you referring to the questionnaire then?
Not as yet. I'm still just talking generally about
Of consultating.
item 35.
Or consulting the public?
Yes.
Is informal consulting to the public? Is that the questionnaire?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, well, we haven't actually stepped into that agenda point yet. Just Jan asked what
gonna
Regulation
give-
14 was before we stepped in. So we're now stepping in, yes? So item 36, to receive an update on to agree any actions, recommendations arising from Regulation 14, consultation preparations, including on the following, the survey. Okay. So we got this, let me just throw the survey out because Tony did have a point on the survey. which I offered to. So the survey, which I'm referring to, is included within the briefing note, which was. So we're talking about the whole thing, I guess. So let's just pick up Tony's point before I forget it. He thought, for example, on Bing 1. Let's talk about item 4, policy Bing 1. Are the identified facilities the key ones for the villages and the town? Question mark. His problem was the question mark, because Bing 1 doesn't have a question mark. Bing 1 says these are the identified key. These are the key facilities that the council think are for the villages and the town. And then the question is: do you strongly agree, neither agree, no disagree, or disagree, or strongly disagree with our statement? He feels that we can't ask a question when we're already asking a question because of the question mark. And I did think he's got a point. No,
I'm afraid you've lost me in the tautologies there.
Well,
Yeah.
Is policy Bing 2, design of new development in Bingley, appropriate? Right, then you can say strongly agree with that, but it's a question. It's asking for an opinion. This is number 5. Is policy Bing 2, design of new development in Bingley, appropriate? So you can strongly agree with it, but it's asking a question. Is policy Bing 2 design appropriate?
Isn't the clue in the title called questionnaire, Steve?
Well, it is, but he's being a pedant, and I get that, but I think he's right.
Well, I think he's completely wrong, and we've been through this twice now.
Yeah.
Going.
Well, we haven't agreed it.
Well,
Which is
no,
why I
we've
decided
been
to,
through the questions before,
Yeah.
and we've reworded them to move away from. Do you agree? We originally had. Do you agree with every policy?
Yeah.
And we said that was not. We wanted more variety, and therefore it was changed, and it's come back, and it's been through this group, and I don't get what he's saying now.
Well, I get what he's saying. He's saying we're asking whether we agree with our question statement, which is a question, not a statement, because of the question mark. John, do you have the full plan with you there?
Not the full plan.
Oh,
no,
okay.
No,
You haven't got a list of the policies, eh?
Well, I've got.
I was going to say, just give us a policy. I might better find it. Oh, Philip has got Teams.
I've probably got
It might be easier on your.
Yeah, Philip will
your
find it within
laptop.
seconds. Because if you looked at any one of the policies, one of the shorter ones, hopefully, we might lock on to what he's saying.
Yeah. I've got quite a few pages missing because I
Okay.
lent them to Eve
Oh.
and I haven't got them back yet.
Oh.
It's a long time ago. Eve.
Trouble at mill.
Don't worry.
Does
Don't worry.
new development in Bingley include the road layouts in front of
Well,
Bedford
it
School?
depends what policy Bing 2 says.
What new developments in Bingley are there?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Well, it's anything that comes up in the life of the
So
plan.
the road,
You know.
the new road.
Have you found it, Philippa?
I will have
No,
found
don't
it.
worry.
I will have found it in a second.
Okay. It was item 5 that he actually specifically took to.
Well, I've got Bing 1 down as community facilities.
Yeah, Bing 1 is a list of community facilities.
Yes,
So is
Yes.
it Bing 5 that?
Bing 5.
Well, Bing 5, no, Bing 2 it was, not Bing 5. Maybe.
Excuse me.
Oh, I've got it. Yeah, design of new development in Bingley.
Yeah, so what does the whole policy say, John?
Do you want me to read it out?
Oh,
The
is, that,
whole
is
lot?
that all of it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind reading it out.
No,
if,
no, I
you
don't
can
want
be
you to read
patient.
that out. No, that's huge.
Can I just ask, is there supplementary
No,
tabs and charts
You should be reading
if
that.
this
then.
is going to the public?
Yeah, you should be reading that. At the time when you say his policy Bing 2,
Are the
appropriate.
identified facilities and
Yeah, well
So
then you
you've got
go
to
that.
cross-reference
You've
to
got to
these
cross-reference
Then
documents.
you go
with
to
other
that,
things.
yeah, that's right.
Because otherwise your questionnaire
Absolutely.
pages are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Telephone
Do you want me to?
No. No,
Carry
I'm
on.
just, can you see what he's getting at then? If it says, is policy Bing 2 design of new development in Bingley appropriate?
They're all got question marks though.
Yeah, they're all like that. That's
Yeah.
Philippa's point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
but
So,
Tony thinks we shouldn't be
who's
asking
Tony?
a Likert scale question on an opinion because of the question mark.
Tony's another one of the laymen.
Well, he feels that it should say policy Bing 2 details our policy
Right.
with regard to the design of new
Once some
development
young
in
the
Bingley.
PTR working group who is in the council.
Do you agree with
Do
the
you
Right.
agree
policy?
All right,
strongly?
That's a question.
Well, the question is,
They're all questions.
It can't
not be a
It's
question.
there.
Question.
It's a question.
So
Leave the
Yeah.
question mark in and
Yeah.
move on, I said.
yeah.
Can't not be a question,
I'm
it's a
happy to put it to a
questionnaire.
vote if we.
99.9% of folk out there won't appreciate the semantics of
Yeah.
whether it's in or out.
It's clear though. It's saying, do you think that policy's?
If you as a new member
Me
think it's
included.
clear,
Well, I think it's saying. If you read that, do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it?
it
Do you
is on
strongly
you
agree with it?
Is policy design appropriate? Okay.
I think that given the way the draft policy is written, you can ask the question, do you agree with it?
Okay. I asked and answered. Tony's outvoted, and I'm not
Yes.
even going to put it. He can read the room on YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I promised him I'd raise it, which I have.
I think if it was the only one with a question mark, you might hang on
It's
it a bit
all of
more.
them.
But they're all the
They're
same
all
sort
the
of
same.
questions.
They're all
Yeah.
much the
Not
same.
much the same.
Yeah.
We did change a few words to make them not so the same.
You're never going to get it.
Anything
Perfect
else
for
on the survey? I had one small point, which I'm happy to add, but if anyone else has got a point on the survey. So my point was, if you go to the Appendix 1, which is on page 5 of your piece of paper, a few pages back, that is the...
Apologies, even
That's
though
okay.
it said I had 2 and a bit hours on, it's decided to
Gone.
turn itself off.
Decided to go down. So have you got it then?
No, at the
Appendix
moment.
1
Bring
is on
back
page
paper.
5. You've got page numbers at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yes, Steve.
Yeah.
But my page 6 went to page 20 for some reason.
Okay.
I'll go the other way.
Introduction to the survey from
Yes,
BTC's
Appendix 1,
website.
introduction service from BTC's website.
Before you get to those,
That's it?
Now, isn't that also the postcard? Or have we not designed the postcard
the
yet?
postcard's appendix 2.
The postcard is Appendix 2, which looks broadly the same, isn't it?
The broadly this has got far more text on it 'cause it's introducing the whole.
let me find
concept,
Appendix 2.
This all came from Lee.
I know it came from Lee. Right, okay. Draft text for leaflet. Right, my question has now gone away. Because I thought the text on the thing was far too much to put on a postcard.
All right, okay. Yes, it is.
So, yes, so draft text for leaflet should have read it myself. So I'm now embarrassed. Okay, so because I was looking at it thinking we're never going to get that on a postcard. Don't matter how you design it, so I was looking to take a pair of scissors to it. But the draft text for leaflet there, I'm thinking about the size of paper or card that we would take to a printer's. So I'm thinking that would probably go onto an A5 by half the top.
Yeah.
The top page, and therefore go nicely through a letter box.
Is that what's been quoted for?
No, we haven't got a Oh, yes, we have.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes,
have.
we have from Aldridge Design.
Yes, we've got the three,
Yes,
three
we have.
quotes.
Yes,
And is it for A5 size?
it's for a postcard.
No, it's all right.
The A5.
And what size of postcard?
A5.
5 board.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
A5.
it was A5.
Yeah.
A5 it is a big
Which is
postcard.
It is how
Yeah.
It
big
is.
post.
Yeah, but it goes through a letter box.
Half
so
of
that's
an
fine.
A4.
Yeah. Okay.
Get a
So
lot
anyone
there.
else got any comments about the survey? Because we didn't get it agreed because we were waiting for costs before we put it to the full council. So does this group think that apart from Ian Cunningham possibly, is there any more questions on the survey?
I read this, I'll tell you what I thought when I read this. You know that capitals there, we want your...
Yes, is
I
that appendix
thought
1?
that was quite demanding when I read it. I thought
Shouty.
yeah, a bit shouty, a bit demanding. We'd like your views, please, or your input, please, or something just a bit softer. Because I thought, oh, that's a bit
You
shouty.
don't like the capitalisation. What about the text?
The text.
Yeah, as in what it says.
I think we want your views is very
We
demanding.
would
Yeah.
like
We
your
would
views.
like.
We would like,
Yes.
or would be delighted to have, or please contribute. It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's just, that's, as a person coming into this cold, that's how I felt
Yeah,
when
Yeah.
I read
that's a
it.
good shout.
All right.
Yeah, is that a view share?
Some people react
Yes.
in different ways.
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, well, it is, yeah.
It's for the website, isn't it?
I don't like being
Well,
demanded things,
no,
so maybe it's
are we
me.
talking about the website or the leaflet?
No, we're now talking about the appendix 1. We
It's
dropped-
only a view, I'm only saying
dropped
that.
back onto appendix
No,
one.
it's a valid one, Joe.
It was the shouty paragraph in the middle of appendix 1.
Because I think that,
It would have come from Lee as well.
yeah.
Let's blame him.
What, the bit in the middle?
Just that bit in
Yeah, we want your
capitals
views on
there.
the draft policy rather than
It's meant
we
in
invite
good
your
faith,
views.
I know, but it
Oh,
can
we
be
would
read.
like your
We would
views.
like
Your views
Well-
are important.
Yeah.
If we
Yes.
yeah, if we go back
Yeah, I think so.
to
That, perfect.
Offen-
that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
your views are important.
Perfect, yeah, your views
Would
are
you
important,
please-
because that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
isn't
Hang
it?
on, hang on.
if you look in the middle of
Yeah.
Appendix 2, it says, we would like to know what you think of the policies and proposals and welcome your feedback.
That's
So,
right too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So different.
so do we want consistency across?
Your views are important to us,
Yes.
please let us know.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
I think it would be
Pedantics.
useful to have any
Politics.
Bradford Council before,
Yes.
so we're not going to put anything forward to
No.
council because it's next Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes.
Are you going to Bradford Council?
I want to invite him here.
Oh.
Whether he wants to come here of a dark and stormy night, I don't know. Typically, Ian would do things on Zoom.
No, I think you need to see the whites of his eyes, don't you?
Yeah, it'd be nice. We met him face to face once, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's have consistency then from draft 2, and when it says we would like to know what you think of the policies and procedures, do we want to say your views are important, which is what David said?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So should we change both of those, Appendix 1 and Appendix 2, to suit that? Nice little bit of phraseology going on there. Okay. Anything else on the survey then?
Yeah, the only thing for me is we need to work out exactly where the neighbourhood plan's sitting on the website.
Yep.
Because it's not
Yeah.
currently sitting as
Well, it needs to
described
be
there.
moved, and we've talked to Eve about moving all the things that are in the table. You know the table. If you click on neighbourhood plan under the top menu on the front page, it brings you up that chart. Yes, with the download chart that gives you all the appendices and things like that.
Yeah, but that's different to what you get if you do a
No,
general
I get it.
search.
What I'm saying is that chart, that table there, needs to be the latest. All the ones from Team needs to be on there, and all those need to be on Office 365.
But is all the text that's in there being replaced by what's in Appendix 1?
Yes. Yes.
Because then it's not top level of the menu, is it? Is it under council? So it's
I think we've said it.
Yeah, we said here it's the top.
We've said it's root. We've said the plan itself is available at root, so we haven't actually said where it is yet. But my view, speaking off the cuff, would be that it needs to be replacing all that stuff on the top menu.
I think it is important. We need people to be able to access it very easily, because
One
if
click.
we're hiding it in various bits and there's chunks here, chunks there,
Yeah.
that's an accusation that we are trying to make life difficult for
Oh,
people,
yeah.
many of which will be not particularly au fait with IT. Under neighbourhood plan, the current up-to-date document and all its links needs to be the only thing
Yeah.
that they can click on, and then
Yeah.
if they want to search back, then there should be another link which takes them into the historic documents,
History.
which they can then
I wasn't
access.
sure we were going to do that last
Well,
little link. Now, I think we were going to
Remove
keep the
the
documents,
historic
but move it
documents
to
from the
Office
website.
365
Yeah.
so that Joe Public can't see them.
Right, that's fine. Yeah,
Because we're just asking them about the current plan.
that's
That's
fine.
what Lee advised at the last meeting he was
Yeah.
at, wasn't it?
That way, there's
Yeah.
that way people can only look at the right
And
document.
do we know what
Yeah.
the current release status is of all the views and vistas and buildings and green spaces and things like
Well,
that?
aren't they the ones on Teams?
Yes. If we know where they are, there's about 7 of them on Teams. That's my point. Yeah, that they are. There's 2021 drafts, 2022 drafts.
No, on Teams though.
On Teams, yes, there's various subfolders in Teams that you've got them all in.
We need to go through them, in fact, before we do
Yeah.
anything to put them on the website, don't we? We need
Shall
to
I
go through
shall I socialise what I think is the latest, and then you guys can all challenge, because we do need to move all of those. They can stay on Teams from my point of view, but they all need to move into that front page of the council website.
Yeah, well, it should be. There is a Schedule 14 documents folder in there, and they all just need to be in there, don't they?
Yes. Well, once we put them in there,
That's,
then the clerks
what we're
can
doing.
move them from Teams onto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that then. Let's try and do that. Okay, so we can all get up and try and get access to Teams. And give you a good opportunity to read the other 400 pages you haven't yet done. It's a chore for you. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. I'm going to go back to the
If we come back to the postcard or leaflet, or
postcard
or,
appendix 2.
or
Yeah.
whatever it ends up being.
Yep.
Have we got any thoughts? I mean, I'm assuming I think we got a quote for designing it from Richard, didn't we?
We certainly should have our logo on it, and it should be signed by yourself.
Because we've got some text here, but is this like the front of it, and we need to put something on the back, which might just be, here's where you go for the plan, here's where you go for the survey. Have we?
We haven't got whether we got a double-sided quote, don't know, or whether it just has plain white on the other side. It's a price consideration, isn't it? Don't know what we asked him.
It all depends how it's posted. No, it won't be addressed, will it?
No.
No.
That bit's
So Philippa's right. There is an A5 piece of white card there
Yeah.
that we could put something on, but whether we quoted for it, the actual click on council neighbourhood planning from the top menu is where we're going with that. And then if you want to read a paper copy, then and a couple of phone numbers and a couple of dates.
And then the other thing that I think we probably should change on this is just the focus in paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where we say you can either make your comments on paper, collect a survey form from the clerk, or you can do it online when you look at the draft neighbourhood plan. We want to be getting as much online as possible.
We need
that
to be
needs
reversing
that
those.
needs
Yeah.
to be, they need to be the other way around, I think.
Okay, I agree with that.
I would imagine for an A5 flyer to have a reverse copy, the actual increase in cost won't be that
Not a
great.
lot. You're the printing expert,
Yeah,
aren't you?
it won't be that great.
No.
It's an opportunity to ensure that when this document goes through a letterbox and there's a piece of white paper, it just doesn't get gobbled.
Yeah.
It does need something on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
If
a
only
marginal,
PCO.
and it will be a marginal extra
Yeah.
cost.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think you've got to do the job right.
It's a
And-
wasted opportunity.
And to the point that actually if we are trying to cram something onto A5 because of lots of words, well if we've got
Two
basically
sides.
A4 we can put a lot more words on and we can actually most likely make it a slightly bigger font
Yeah.
so that folk can actually read it rather than it being crammed in micro font. This is something that as a town council we need to complete. hopefully successfully, because at the end of the day, it is an effect on Bingley, the plan, and it also is an effect on potential SIL money coming in to deal with some of the issues that have come up in the plan. So we've got to get it right. So after
Does
a
it
couple of hundred
introduce
extra
the group?
quid or whatever it'll be, let's do the consultation leaflet right.
Does it introduce the group and what this working party is? Because I didn't even know about it until Lynn texted our neighbourhood. So it's an opportunity just to even recruit people into this as well, isn't it?
Well, there's 14 lay vacancies on this meeting, of which there were you two, Tony, Andrew, and Martin. Yeah, so there's 5 out. So
It's not widely known though, is
nine
it?
more
I didn't
vacancies.
know about it.
No.
So if there's
No.
a tiny bit of it that you can advertise,
Yeah.
But,
Come
but I
on,
think
yeah.
given where we
we
are in the process,
okay.
it's lovely for you to join now, but
Oh no,
But actually, fresh eyes,
always
as we've
helps.
just seen with the
Yeah.
shouty wording,
yeah.
you know,
But there's still more
even
to
if
do
somebody
after
else
it's all
picks
passed, isn't
something
there?
up
Yeah.
like that, it's worthwhile.
Always
That
worthwhile.
little call for, do you want to help your local community?
This is the sad thing in the population. How much is how many in Bingley? You said
17,000.
17,000. There's 5 people discussing the future of Bingley.
Because I don't think people know about it.
I know.
No.
But after this has been approved, there's work to do, isn't there?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always going
To
to be
implement it and all those things.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so we'll have a look at Appendix 2 then and make it 2 sides. I do agree that if we've got to say, you know, page 1, page 2 on it, or front side and back side, so we make people know there is something on the other side, and we do need to put the link to the website, you know, on there as well for where they are. So we need a few decisions first. We also need the drop-in event and the consultation date. So I still think we're some way away until we speak to Mr. Cunningham. So I think, you know, that needs to happen first. So I think we are running into
who
November.
designs this?
So look,
Who designs this?
a
Do you have someone
guy
who
called
designs
Richard
you?
Aldrich Designs, who did the neighbourhood plan as well.
So they'll do the postcard as well,
Yeah.
no doubt. It's
Yeah.
good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's
Yeah.
normally pretty good.
So do we kick round an appendix 2 and send it out per comment, or stick it in Teams? Create a new folder for survey, or there is a folder. Let's put it in there. Put it in the Reg 14 folder. And
Can
if
do that.
Jen can get access to it, we can have a look at that. Okay.
But do we want
To
to be?
put what in there, sorry?
A rewrite of Appendix 2 to make it 2 sides before we give it to Richard to design.
Well, do we want to ask Richard first what his ideas are? Because
Yeah.
he might want to just put striking things on one side and the text on the other. I don't
Well,
know.
I do think that David's point of view was to get the text off all the text off of one side to make it a bigger font. Because
Yeah.
it is quite small. So that's 11 point we're looking at there, and it's quite small.
Again, I think it'd be useful to speak to Ian Cunningham first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do too. Let's do them both at the same time.
We'll do. Yeah. Then you've
Don't
got
ask Richard to do anything, just ask him for his views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you've got something to
Yeah.
send. You've got some sort of draft then
Yeah.
to send
Yeah.
Ian thing to comment.
Yeah. Okay.
And what's on this morning?
Okay. So, anything else on the survey form before we move on? So we've got the questions right now, we think. We've got the appendix. How about the text for the website, which was Appendix 1? Let's have a quick look at that before we go on, which was, that has a shouty bit in it, so we can make that consistent. That's a lot of legalese in there about conforming with local plan policies, and will help ensure that planning proposals take account of our needs and decisions about planning applications. So just for Jan's benefit, the whole neighbourhood plan is a planning document. So whenever you come and build a house or put a shop front in or whatever, it's for the planning department to look at it, and it's a thou shalt not document.
Right.
That's what it's basically there for. It's us saying this is down at the detail level, what we want Bingley to scope out. There's also a wrap around there about bird flights and sanctuaries and walkways and cycleways, which we would like people to pick up when they do developments, or it's for us as a council to pick those up and do them. But it's basically, a planning document for the shape of Bingley. That's why it talks about planning applications and things like this. It's a planning document, and that's why it's written in legalese as well. And that we'll talk about the policy map in a minute, and that's germane to that conversation. Okay, so I didn't have a problem with any of the words, but we can soften the shouty paragraph and make that your views are important to us, and some consistency.
I'm not. That's going to be how people remember me. Shouty
It's
words.
talking about the Bingley Library there. Eve's been round the library, had a chat with them, more than happy to host the plan itself. They really don't want a policies map on the wall. Whether that's down to limited wall space or what, did you get
It
his?
was limited space. When they said they'd put the plan on, they put community information on, and basically they'd put it in and pin it to the notice board.
Oh.
That is them having the plan in there.
Oh, okay.
They haven't got the space.
Well, they better have a big pin then.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
a big 6-inch nail.
I know. I don't think she was quite.
Doesn't know where it is.
How big it is, really.
Well, okay.
Is this the 2 metre square one?
Yes.
Yeah, the size of this door.
Well, we had two.
Height of this door and top.
We had the big one was a 5mm foam,
Yeah.
didn't we? Which was
Yeah.
here, and then we had the laminated one. It's the laminated one, the done one. But my view is that when they see the plan and realise that it's the plan, because it's also going to be the appendix. So when we give them a sheaf of documents that big, they are literally not going to be able to put it on a notice board. So
Well,
it
they
has
might
to.
not be able to put it in there.
Well, we don't know, but at the moment they've said they
Not have an arrow on the notice board.
Yeah.
Plenty shelf 3B.
put a notice on the notice board saying go see the librarian if you want to read it, because presumably they have reading desks there.
Well, they don't have the space. That's exactly the point. They do not have the space to put anything like
But they
that.
have reading desks and they have.
Yeah,
They've got computer
Yeah,
terminals
got
as
computer
well.
For people to go and read, they
It's not very
can't
big.
allocate a space
Right.
for it. That's what they were saying.
It's all
No.
a bit tight in there, isn't
They haven't
it?
got the room for it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But if they've agreed to host it, let's just run with
Them
it.
sort of,
A solution will come up, won't it?
We need to move.
Wave your arms about.
So my view is that we should, for the cost of the £60, wasn't it, for the laminated
Yes.
print?
Yes, it was.
We
Yes.
should go for it anyway,
Yeah.
because there might be a bit of arm twisting involved once you see what it is.
Well, it might be that we go somewhere other than here and just pin it up somewhere,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, go to a community
Yeah,
centre.
we're not going to be taking a 2 metre by 2 metre
No.
phone board
No.
anywhere really.
We'd be
are we?
like a kite.
Perhaps you could have a chap with a billboard, a person with a billboard.
Okay.
That'll be you, John.
Walk
We'll just,
round
wrap, we'll just wrap the laminate round.
And where we say the plan supporting documents and questionnaire are available on the council's website, one would assume that when we click on neighbourhood planning from the top menu, that actually says questionnaire.
Well, it's going to need to,
got
isn't
to
it?
be,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Yeah.
Got to be there
Yeah.
in your face.
Yeah.
Because the problem is with anything that's on paper or in a paper, it's just got to direct people, isn't it? They can't click through
No.
unless we do something like put a QR code on something,
And
which might be something we could talk to Mr. Aldred about.
for the lay members, that's you three guys, the council is looking at a new website, because we know our website is not cutting the mustard. So from a clarity point of view, so it looks clunky, and clicking into that page, you see that chart, and it's like a Excel spreadsheet looking at you, whether it should be wordy and click here and things like that. It's a document plug-in basically for a website. It's not.
I'm still working on Microsoft 7.
Good luck with that.
Steam powered.
Okay. So let's move on then to the survey. So we're happy with the survey. We're happy with the questions. We're happy that Appendix 1 gets rewritten a little bit. Happy that Appendix 2 gets rewritten a little bit. And let's have a look. What else we got? Appendix 3, draft text for website, press advertisements. We don't do any advertising in the press at all. We haven't got any quotes for it. That word was, well, those words were put in there by Lee because it's generic. We could go to the T&A. Normally something in there costs something like £400 to put an advert in the T&A. We don't do it by right. Is it a
statutory requirement to
No.
advertise in the T&A?
No.
I'd save me £400 and spend it on a better leaflet.
It's not a statutory requirement at all. It is an informal consultation.
Well, we've said under publicity further up in the document on whatever the page is, page 2, that we would put it in the T&A. We can change that.
But you could do an article and see if you could get a reporter down.
Yeah.
This is Bingley Town Council launch of our.
I think
get the group together with the big banner.
Other areas they haven't done the mailing to people.
They haven't done the
they
mailing,
They have
no.
tended to do the adverts in papers.
Yeah, I think we're doing belt and braces. We do both. We haven't found a council yet that's done a mailing to anyone.
So is the postcard to go to everywhere, Micklethwaite?
Yeah,
Pottingley,
that was intended to go
Yeah.
to everyone. We're struggling. We'll talk about the that in a second, but we've been struggling to find out what other councils do, and Lee's been in contact with a couple of them, and they just haven't done it. They just put it on notice boards, put it out in the paper, and that's it.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? Because lots of people wouldn't have done things like a leaflet drop in the middle of COVID, because why would you have someone putting something through someone's letterbox?
The two that I went to, Wilston and Ilkley, neither of them did it for the Regulation 14 consultation. Wilston did do a postcard drop or similar for the initial consultations, but it's a smaller place. They just self-delivered.
Yeah.
They just walk around and do it themselves. But they didn't do it for the Regulation 14.
So, press advert, but I do agree with David that you could speak to Chris Young of T&A. It was a slow news day today with what I read in there. So if it's a slow news day, we'll get it in there, won't we?
It'll appear once though, won't it?
Yeah, but
but so will our advert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the article might go on their website.
My next comment that if you start advertising in the newspapers, just once is maybe not very good. You've got to do it quite a few times in order to, and that's going to start.
That's going to rack
Is it
up
£400 per insertion?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I would say, and who's going to read something about that big in between used cars and florists?
Yeah.
I mean, my conclusion is I think we're adequately covered by having the postcards. I mean, you can't say that nobody hasn't been that nobody hasn't
We've
been
done our
informed.
best,
That's what
haven't
The
we?
postcards will
best.
get to more people than people
Yes.
who read the T&A in
Yeah.
Bingley.
Absolutely
Yes,
right.
please.
Yes.
I think I mentioned at the last meeting that the TNA do a district by district couple of in their central pages section.
Yeah.
Silston, East Morton. Surely in the Bingley version is an ideal opportunity. Say Bingley Town Council are doing this, are launching this in the Bingley and it's as good as any advert.
Can we not?
In that it is news.
That's where we get Chris Young to do it. He's the political reporter.
Yeah.
So in fact, instead of taking an ad out, what we're going to try and do is have a
Making
number of news stories, whatever news stories we can. When we have
press contact.
when we have the open, what day we can invite them down, can't we? Get some just
What do
try
we
and get
say?
Maximise our free coverage.
What do we say? Draft text for website and press briefing.
Yeah.
And change it so that Appendix 5 or whatever we're going to have another appendix which says press briefing, and we just send it to Chris. And invite
Exciting things happen.
Yeah, exciting things happening.
What
in
about
Bingley.
social media groups as well? Like this, the Eldrick and Gilstead group, and there's different
Yeah.
groups. Because I used to advertise for Damart for the Bradley Mill sale. when I worked there, and I used to cover 75,000 people by clicking into Keithley's buy
Yeah.
and sell, this buy and sell, that buy and sell.
Yeah.
So there's social media as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You can really
we
use,
certainly would put something in
is
Bingley
free.
residents. You'd be surprised when we put it on our website, someone will pick it up. I mean, David put it into Gilstead and
Yeah, I try to
Yeah,
bounce
you
it
can
into groups
cross-factor
that
it into it.
I am in.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
Micklethwaite, there's
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
all
Yeah,
different
no,
groups
we
out
are trying
there.
to bounce through Debbie, trying to get things in as many,
Yeah.
whatever we put out into
You
as
may
many
need to
groups
come-
as
It may need to come through members though, rather than the town
Yeah.
council, because they won't
Yeah.
let us post on a lot of these groups, because we're seen as a business.
But,
Well,
but we will have something, won't we? And
Yeah.
it's just a matter of winding ourselves
You
up
can
to share
join-
it
you
as
can join
share
it
it as
all and post
widely
it
as
across.
yeah.
possible.
Well,
on
we've got a
Stitch,
Twitter account and a Facebook page, so
Yeah.
we'll certainly
Yeah.
put it on that, and then the other councillors will throw it into the
And
community
how about
page.
local shops? Do you have a little stack of them in the post office? And a little stack in,
We haven't.
because
we
that's where you're
used-
going to get all the.
We used to advertise on a lot of notice boards and post office shop windows and things like that, but we took it down to just a statutory minimum.
Just little postcards on the side, because to print a few thousand more, once you get going, it's not more expensive.
No,
It's just an idea.
we could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
I,
drop
I
things.
think one of the reasons why we continually talk about the apathy of the town is that we just don't let them know, put Bingley Town Council up there to have a voice.
Well, we
that
can
it
certainly
has a
put things
voice.
in local restaurants, places like the Granary. Just well, these places where they might have taxi.
Plenty of them might go around if we take the time to go ask them.
Yeah, post
Yeah.
offices are a good
Yeah.
place for the
Yeah,
older.
yeah,
Would you
Various
mind if we
shops
put
that
them
do
there?
Yeah.
The other thing, have we considered maybe taking a stall on the market when we launch it?
No, we haven't. Well,
It's just a
Well,
thought.
it was,
we have
Great
got a stall.
launch.
you would at the Bingley show, wouldn't you? You'd have a table, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
we could do.
I think
Yeah.
it's awareness is a really
Mm.
big thing.
We'll be running up to
launch
Christmas.
week.
Yeah.
That's a good.
The way the timescales are running, though, guys, we'll probably be at the Christmas fair.
Loads of folk at the Christmas fair. Yeah, let's aim for a Christmas fair.
We'll
Yeah.
be running into
I
the
don't
Christmas
think
fair.
they'll be wanting to read a 100-page document.
No. Well, we can certainly, talk about it, even if it's only it's coming in February. Yes. Okay, so let me and whoever else wants to put together a press briefing, because the information's there. It just needs to be written so that we can fire it to Chris. Did you know that Bingley's doing this, that, and the other? An appendix on text for the email on day one of consultation. Now, who was that going to be emailed to?
Our list of people
Our list of people. Now, is that the bell ringers?
that's everybody, yes.
Yeah, so that's the bell ringers, because
And the statutory consultees.
yes. Okay, so we have that list from.
Ian,
Yeah.
that says that every single community
But
group. you can
Lynn and
think
Jan
of.
won't know about that. We a year ago when we first started this, we had there is an Excel spreadsheet around which talks about all the groups within Bingley that could possibly be involved in this. So it was people who had a cursory association with the town and might have an email. So it was Bingley bell ringers, for example. They might not all live in Bingley,
Yeah.
come into Bingley, but
Well,
they're
they've got an
ringing
interest in
bells.
Bingley.
Walkers,
The walking groups.
walkers
Yeah.
are welcome.
Friends
The
of
scouts,
groups.
the guides.
Yeah, everybody and anybody.
There was
we could
about
think of.
200 different groups that had emails, and there's an Excel spreadsheet kicking around that. Well, that's what that's talking about, as well as the statutory consultees.
Because Ian sent us the statutory consultees, hasn't he?
he has,
That's quite a long list as well, isn't it?
It's on the agenda, yes.
Would it also be worthwhile having a word with the area officers
Yes.
at Shipley
Yes.
to see, once we release it, can they share it with their Bingley style contacts?
Yeah.
from word with Marcia or Andy.
Well, it'll go
Because
to.
I mean, the thing is,
It's going to
we're sending
town.
it to Uncle Tom probably
Yeah.
know already.
Town and parish
What's the
councils
thing?
anyway.
Yeah,
But they will
all
have
listed here.
groups that
Yeah.
we don't know about,
yeah,
and they can't give us, for GDPR, the data. So we give them the release and ask very nicely, could
Pass
they
it on, yeah.
include it?
I mean, the one thing we haven't got that I know was mentioned right back towards the start was whether Bradford would give us the contact details of prospective developers, wasn't it? Whether we would include them. Yeah.
That would be dangerous for them, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Because they miss one out.
GDPR.
Yeah.
Walking on
not
hot
chance.
coals.
I know,
If
right?
they
I
miss
thought
one
it was.
out, they'll be in trouble.
Favouritism or
I think, given that fact they couldn't give us a voting list, electoral register, and I think a list of developers, because it might be there's a developer in Australia who's looking
Yeah.
to invest.
I just thought I'd mention it because we have talked about it in the past.
Ooh.
Bearing in mind a fair percentage of our population are younger people, have we thought of how we might engage with maybe the upper schools?
I think schools, I was just going to say.
Because the young people's voice, because at the end of the day, 20 years' time, it's going to be their town, not ours.
Yeah.
yeah,
And we need, I would say, particularly the upper schools,
the sixth forms.
Yeah.
to try and engage with them about what's happening.
Yeah.
Um,
And I was just going to say
yeah.
that one.
I
Exactly.
think that spreadsheet had them on, but
It did.
I can't find it at the moment. I'm not sure.
Well, the whole spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
can't remember what it was called.
Definitely.
or even
No.
to the point of asking the schools, is there an interest group within the school that might be willing to look at this and feed back into us?
Well,
It
there
might
are-
be a nice social project
Yeah.
for somebody to run.
Yeah.
It might be that, yeah,
Yeah. Or they might just say
they,
no,
they
not
want to
bother.
get involved for something to do with the curriculum, yeah.
Well, they'll have 8 weeks, won't they? So it's so a fairly long time for someone in the school's headmaster, whoever's receiving it, to say, "Oh, this is interesting." And if we word it such that we're willing to talk to anyone.
I mean, it might be that we need to write to the schools
Yeah.
Yeah.
fairly
To
soon
try and
and
engage
say,
with them.
Yeah.
this is coming. I don't know if there's an opportunity for you to use it in your curriculum
Yeah.
or otherwise get senior children
Circulate to
engaged. Yeah.
Well, it's and say to them, we're looking for your feedback, and
Yeah.
then down the line, no one can say, well, you didn't ask us, you didn't tell us,
Yeah.
because you have. Yeah.
and at the end of the day, that younger population is a
People are
very,
gonna have
is a
to live with the
very, is a
consequences,
very
so-
important voice
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Okay. But presumably the clerks will take this list from Ian and add it into Outlook, and better hit a button and that broadcast
Which
will.
list? The consultees list?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we need a meeting with him first.
You need what?
I think we need to have the meeting with him.
Yes. Yeah. Well, absolutely. Before
Yeah.
we do it. Yeah. No, I get that. I'm talking about procedurally. You can take these and cut and paste them into a.
We can, but we know from our current newsletter distribution where we tend to have issues after a certain number of addressees. So
Right.
it may well be that someone on the day is sitting there going 25,
Oh dear.
boom, 25, boom.
Oh dear. Oh well.
I think that covers everybody, because you've got your children, you've got the parents of the children, you've got your post office and your shops, you've got like
Yeah.
the whole demographic, haven't you?
Yeah.
We're trying to do our best
Yeah.
effort,
Yeah.
Yeah.
best endeavours, I think the term
Okay.
is.
Okay, so let's go back to the agenda. We're still talking about the survey form. We talked about the addressees of the statutory survey. Timescales, I think it's driven by a meeting with Ian Cunningham. If we need another meeting, don't we, to rewrite Appendix 1, make it a press briefing, rewrite Appendix 2, the postcard to make it better, and rewrite Appendix 3, and bring up the Excel spreadsheet that we can't find at the moment. We will have it.
We will have it.
We will have it. We don't lose anything.
I think when we're looking at the postcard, we maybe just need to get from Mr. Aldred,
Yeah.
yeah. Has he quoted for a double side?
Yeah.
If not, what's the increased design
Yeah, I can
cost
do that.
and an indicative of surcharge on the print cost?
Yeah. Okay.
When
And then
is,
we've got it all in front of us then.
Yeah.
when is the desired timescale that you're looking to go
It
live?
was 2 years ago.
Oh, right. As soon as possible.
Yeah, no,
COVID intervened.
it's been going now since 2017. So
December.
it's a 5-year mission. So it's because it's legal, because it's just long. Lots of councils, local councils, abandoned it halfway through.
Yeah.
Belden put a moratorium on it, didn't they, and then came back to it
I
because
mean,
it's
it
just
would be great if it was all done before Christmas. wouldn't
yeah,
it?
it would be
We're
great.
taking about the
Yeah.
average
This,
time
this coming.
Right.
So okay.
local councils are taking.
Yeah.
But the consultation itself has got to be a minimum of 6
Do you
weeks
think, yeah, the
legally, and we've said 8 just to make sure
Yeah.
we get everybody.
Christmas people are generally preoccupied with Christmas, aren't
Yeah.
they? After Christmas, probably springtime, when people get a new
It
lease
either
of
needs to
life.
be before Christmas
Or after.
else we'll
Yeah.
be accused of burying it.
Yeah.
I think people get a new sense of energy in March
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait till March, Jack.
Right.
I mean, if we can get it out like,
January,
like
yeah.
October,
We're going to have a
November.
lot of time in the new year chuntering through all the
Fine.
responses and then
Yeah.
deciding whether to amend it again or not. See, that's the whole purpose of the consultation. So our
Right.
work is not done. Okay. So, can we talk about approach then? Events, cost of the bulk postage, and talk about quote 1, 2, and 3. So we've got
Yep.
quote 1, which was our standard delivery team, who won't cover the whole of the parish. They don't do communal flats. There's loads of communal flats in our parish, all protected by locks and keys, doors we can't get into. I know that from delivering, so does David, so does Lynn.
I certainly feel with the first quote, the fact that it imposes a limitation on where it can be posted sets us on the back foot, because you can't then honestly put hand on heart and
So
tell,
it's covered.
tell
Well, you know it
people
hasn't.
we've covered
Yeah,
the region.
we
because
know we've
haven't.
missed out big.
Yes,
Big chunks.
yeah,
Big
yeah,
chunks,
yeah,
don't we?
which is starting with a negative.
Anyone tried delivering to the new cattle market sites? Those new retirement.
Oh, yeah,
I tried. I was going to give them something when we did. Oh, they do want to be a councillor,
Yeah.
and I got as far as the front door,
Can't
and
get-
it was covered in all the no flyers, no nothing, absolutely nothing there.
No.
If you want to come in, there's a phone number. I just thought, you know what,
Yeah.
which is what any hand delivery,
Yes.
anything
Yes,
other than
yeah,
Royal
yeah.
Mail is gonna suffer, isn't it?
Well, I'm assuming
Well-
Royal Mail can get in because there's a few.
They've
there's-
got codes for everything.
There's
haven't
some
they?
down the end of Micklethwaite, down that little lane from the central village that drops down the mud lane and then goes down. There's a converted manor house down the bottom there
The
with,
mill down the bottom.
with a mill with a key code on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one up Heights Lane, just
Oh,
up by
there's
Duck Pond on the
there's
right.
loads.
That's
There's all the
there's
apartments.
the green, were behind
Yes.
There's all the apartments that were mills in cross flats,
The
old souls,
cross-flats,
whatever.
emus
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
The
there's
assisted
loads.
living houses.
Yeah.
So
there's
does quote
60
number
that-
2 then assisted through the Royal Mail? Does that get given to the Royal Mail and they got passcodes and they can cover the whole?
I
That,
assume that's the same for quote 2 and quote 3.
yeah.
Yeah, because that was also so both. That's why they're spookily within 40 pence of each other.
Couldn't believe that.
Because they're both doing the same job. And they've both got quotes from the Royal Mail and then given a handing charge on the top of it, I guess. But okay, well, can we we haven't got any more details, but Philippa, you've looked at number 2, haven't you, in terms of what's on the website, and you couldn't find the website number 3.
I could find the website, I just couldn't find anything
Couldn't
useful on it.
There wasn't information. There wasn't
No,
So given the 40p difference, and quote 2 is actually the benefit of a 40 pence, I'm happy to propose that we,
can we talk about it a bit more after?
after Incunning. Oh, after the, yes,
That
After
goes
that.
on,
after the
Go to
outlet,
sleep.
okay.
'cause
Right, well, let's not talk about it now then, because we'll take it in session at item 39. So anything else about the bulk? We're quite happy that solution number 1 is not for us, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
that leaves huge lumps of our
Far too,
parish
And I
outside.
think we're quite happy that something delivered by Royal Mail is
Right.
what we
Well,
want to
that's
go
good,
with, yeah.
Possible meeting then with Bradford Council prior to consultation. So this is Ian and whoever else he might want to bring with him. When we was last on Zoom, he had 2 other people on Zoom. So it's kind of likely from his cost perspective and time perspective, he might say, I can do it, but I want to do it on Zoom. Are we all, Lynn and I are certainly capable of Zoom. Everyone else is Zoomable?
I'm okay with Zoom.
Jen?
I haven't done it for many a years. I
We
don't
could do it
know.
on Teams and do it here like we do.
Well, we could all come here
Yeah.
and they could be on there.
Yeah.
I think that will be better where
That'll
then
be-
acting as a
There'll be
group.
more
Absolutely
as a
And
meeting.
living in Eldwick,
Yeah,
sometimes Teams is,
You're
well, I
paying
get it today, I don't get it
Okay.
tomorrow. It's
I'm glad you
hit
said
and
that,
miss.
David, because I thought it was my steam powered
No.
So here's a thought then.
Thank you, thank you.
Do we want to integrate that with the next meeting of this team, or do we want to have a special session with just him, do him, because that then allows us to pick up his thoughts and put them into the next meeting,
I think you've just got to go with him when
Yeah.
he's available, haven't you?
which might mean
is always the
not. Yeah.
problem, isn't it?
I subject to diary, I have no issues with having another meeting.
Yeah.
If it's with Ian though, it does need to be court. I don't think there's just Philip and I turn up and say,
No.
well, we're not, if we're going to talk to him,
Even
otherwise
else,
we have to bring back his recommendations to another
I think
meeting.
we need to stress, particularly to the council members, that it's a very important one. You need to make every effort to attend.
Yes.
No, I don't want to delay things further, but for me that could.
I think
We need to get on with it.
No, because that means if we can't have it for another month.
yeah. No, I agree.
See how quick you can get in.
It
No, no,
depends
well,
on him, doesn't it?
Not if you want me there.
All right, are you?
I will email him tomorrow then, asking for his availability, and ask him if he wants to.
There may be a few dates.
Yeah,
Yes.
and will it be on Zoom or Teams, or will it be face to face?
Ideally
And does he want to bring
face-to-face.
people with him?
Yeah.
Because if it's face to face, it predicates itself on an evening. Because people think it's during the day, don't they?
I'm retired, I'm alright.
Well, I'm retired.
Any time.
Lynn's retired. David, you retired?
Well, I'm retired but working.
Me too. Me too.
And Philippa, you're presumably still opening lock gates, are you now and again?
Yeah, for the moment.
For the moment, yeah. And Jane,
Yeah, retired, yeah.
retired.
But
Okay. So it could be during the day.
we can do it during the
subject to
day if
his-
that's when Ian can.
Right. Okay,
I
so
think pinning Ian down's the thing.
Who's
Yeah.
Ian
I
again?
will
He's one of the chief
ask
planning
Ian.
officers
Ah,
at
right.
Bradford.
Right.
Okay, so that's that possible meeting. So it's a probable meeting, definitely a must do. So anything else before I move on to item 37, which is the next meeting? No? Okay, so item 37 then, next meeting of the Neighbourhood Plan Working Group, which is typically a month's time. So if we scurry forward a month to, we've got EMAC on the Tuesday night. It's Tuesday today, isn't it? Yeah, so we've got EMAC on the Tuesday night, and that takes Lynn out.
I do not think they should be tied in with the meeting with Ian Cunningham.
Maybe
Yeah.
it could be agreed via email when after we know
Yes.
about Ian Cunningham.
Yeah.
Do we just,
I think they need
Get
to
hold of
wait
Ian
till
first, and then we
And
can plan.
I think an
accordingly.
evening appointment would be better
when is
than a
the when is the
daytime.
full council meeting at the end? Is it the 24th?
31st.
31st. Okay. So just throw some dates out. It could be Monday the 16th, Monday the 23rd, Tuesday the 24th.
But do you think there's any point having one if we haven't yet met?
No, I don't.
No. All right.
I'm just saying.
And it
for
also
me,
depends on his diary. So
yeah,
we
it
would
depends on
hear-
his diary. For me, those are the sort of indicative
Provisional.
dates, provisional dates. Unless you're going to tell me that they can't be planning a FGP.
No,
Personally, I would prefer this time meeting rather than a daytime meeting,
Absolutely.
especially if it's at some point in the future yet to be decided.
Yeah.
Because real life gets in the way of daytime meetings.
Well, 23rd, 24th, 25th. That's 3 days there. We're all fine with me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
10th planning. Or 10th
Okay.
planning.
So no date set, but provisionally towards the end of August, end of October.
Yeah, I couldn't do the week after, but I can,
No,
I can
okay.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And they're typically a week before the full council meeting because as a working group we can't decide anything. We can recommend,
Yeah.
but the full council needs to dot the i's and cross the t's and endorse our recommendation. So we're typically running a week before them to get it on the agenda for the full council.
Where's the full council
The
meeting? Steve?
31st.
Pardon?
31st.
Halloween.
Is it?
It's my mum's birthday. That's why I would have been able
It's
to
very
come.
elastic. It's very elastic.
Yes.
And it's the 20. It's next Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes, 26 next.
Yeah. Do we know where it is, by the way?
It's at Little House.
Little House. Okay. That's Little House.
I've got full council meeting at Eldwick Church. Is that not right?
No, that was last month. I guess.
On 30th. So it's going to be different.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Moving on then to 23, 24, 38. Exclusion of the press and public. Do we want to resolve that members of the press and public be excluded from the items under the provisions proposed by Philippa, seconded
Seconded.
by John Decker? All in favour of booting the members of the public out? Yes. Yes. So.
Oh, is that now? All right.
Yes,
I
that's
thought you
now.
meant from this question. I was thinking.
No, we're throwing the members of the public on
All right,
out.
I see.
So